Trust me? This is the messages that we're seeing. I don't know if you on social media because the news don't tell you everything. But you have to pay attention to what's going on. Or else we have a president that's trying to incite a race war. And when the borders are closed, we can't leave. You have people in here that need your help. This is when you and y'all stand together with the community, with society to stop the governmental oppression. Period. We need you.
Can you do me a favor? Can you take a kneel? Can you take a kneel?
I don't know. They ain't enough for me.
Let me see you
They
take
ain't
a kneel.
enough for me.
Everybody, let's all do it together. You against George Floyd, guys, take a kneel. Let's all do it together.
Oh, y'all in the back, take a knee. Take a knee.
You standing up, we thinking you really got one. Take a knee.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your loss as a citizen of Minnesota. I'm sorry for the loss of George Floyd. All right, my heart hurts as a human being. Yeah, man, you get a hug. You get a hug. You get a hug. You bet, man. Hey, we can hear you. Respect our property. We'll respect 100%. Preserve and protect the Constitution and your liberties to peaceably assemble and speak the First Amendment, okay?
In America's capital, they marched on the Lincoln Memorial and were met by the National Guard. In Portland, thousands lay face down on a bridge to remember today's icon of black justice, George Floyd. All over America, countless thousands made their voices heard peacefully.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Even cowboys in Texas turned out for the cause.
I'm here today so she doesn't have to come back in 15 years for the same issue and protest again. So we want it fixed now.
Keep going. Keep going.
For those in charge, the first priority is restoring law and order. A looting free-for-all in New York last night drew harsh words from the governor.
The NYPD and the mayor did not do their job last night.
Welcome to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. You're not burning down our city.
While in Idaho, locals were taking security into their own hands. The self-proclaimed law and order president stood for the cameras before a papal statue, but the presidential motorcade was booed as it returned to the White House. The clearing out of peaceful protesters for yesterday's photo opportunity has caused widespread outrage. Even ardent supporters of the president had blunt advice.
Seems like now is the time to say, I understand your pain. I want to comfort you. I think it's time we love each other. But the president took a different course.
Others saw it as a show of strength in a time of need.
It was strong and powerful for the president to go there and say, we will not be cowed.
The protest movement is getting political.
I promise you this, I won't traffic in fear and division. I won't fan the flames of hate.
Well, it may not look like it from what you can see here and at other protests around the country, but Donald Trump still enjoys a lot of support, particularly in the states that matter.
Even here, there are doubts about his opponent.
Would like to see him out of the White House, of course. But then again, I don't know who else is going to be going in the White House next. Could be somebody worse than Donald Trump.
As night drew on, there were more clashes at the White House and arrests in New York. The rage hasn't burned out just yet. David Lipson, ABC News, Washington.
Gianna Floyd, just 6 years old, her father taken from her under the weight of a police knee.
This is what those officers took from me.
Gianna's mother, Roxy Washington, was mourning a future lost for a child and her father.
He would never see her grow up, graduate. He would never walk down the aisle.
Her dad gone, his memory, his name, now etched in American history. Across the nation, countless thousands heeded the family's call for peaceful protests.
The families asked everybody to take a breath, just to take a breath for peace, take a breath for justice.
The Minnesota Human Rights Department has launched a civil rights investigation into Minneapolis police.
We're going to establish peace on our streets when we address the systemic issues that caused it in the first place.
The state's governor is resisting calls from the president to send in even more National Guard troops. And from the Minnesota National Guard itself, a promise to heed the call from protesters to keep it low-key.
We heard it, and we're going to stay back behind invisible so that you can't see us. Is that okay? Thank you.
That sense of cooperation between the protesters and the authorities has been seen in a number of cities.
Thank you!
But lurking amongst the thousands mobilizing around the country is an unseen enemy. The risk of COVID-19 silently spreading through the crowds is frighteningly real.
I worry terribly about the peaceful protests. I see some wearing masks. I see some others not wearing masks.
One man's brutal death, one way or another, could cost many more lives in the weeks ahead. Philip Williams, ABC News.